Hey, what's happening everybody? So I get a lot of questions about roof fans, so I wanted to compare the MaxxAir fan to the Fantastic fan. I've got a rare opportunity of having a Fantastic fan in this Astro right here, my old mystery machine, and MaxxAir fans in the new van, the Chevy Express. So I want to compare them. It's not completely like side by side because the Fantastic fan is a lower model. It doesn't have some of the features that the MaxxAir fan has, but there are some built-in things inherently built into the MaxxAir fan, which I think make it superior to even the top Fantastic fan. So I'll go over those, but I just want to compare them side by side, so let's get into it. Okay, so we'll start off with main like build design. So the Fantastic fans open. They both have this big thing that opens. This one's a little busted up. The lid opens up by just the single rod here, which is pretty bent up on this particular example. It was driven out of the garage a couple times while the lid was still open and destroyed this thing. It still works though. That's pretty neat. Now the way this thing works is it has this little switch right here. So when the lid is fully closed, the fan does not operate. It will not turn on. It cuts off the power to it. But you can have it down about this far, so there's just a very, very, very slight opening there, and still have the fan on. That's kind of beneficial when it's raining. It doesn't push much air because the thing has to, it has to be open just enough for the fan to be on, but not open so much that a bunch of water gets in and spills on you. So that's kind of a downer about this one. It does not work in the rain. You cannot have the lid open, and when the lid's totally closed, the fan does not work. So then you have no airflow inside when it's raining out, and that sucks. You can get these giant, massive covers that they make. They're about this tall. I had one on here for a little while when I was in Mesa. They're just huge and obnoxious looking, but those make it so you can have it open all the way when it's raining. That is my biggest complaint about this thing. That it just sucks. Now this particular one, I think they all have, there's a couple higher models that I think open electronically with a remote control, which is pretty cool. The knob is really nice on this one. I like the way they designed the knob. It's got 4 corners, it's nice and easy to open, and then it's got these 3, oh, I forgot to put the fuse in. I'll have to do that in a second. It's just got a simple 3-speed on here. I believe that they're all 3-speed on the Fantastic fans, except for the ones with the remotes. I think those do 10 speeds. Let me show you the MaxxAir fan real quick. Okay, so the design of the MaxxAir fan is much bigger. It takes up much more real estate space-wise, but it has this big built-in rain shield. And not all of them are made like this. They have some other models that are similar to the Fantastic fan and that they don't have this big built-in rain shield, which is still much, much, much smaller than the giant rain cover things you can get for these. So I still like this a lot more than getting those big rain covers. Another cool feature of this is the base of it down here is separate from the fan unit. So you can take out these 2 screws and the 2 on the other side, and you can actually pull the whole fan out and either have it serviced or replaced with a higher end model or whatever you want. So when you remove this fan, you don't have to remove the base. And actually, I think that when we get the high top installed, we'll probably just buy a new base that we can just set our fan right in so that we don't have to clean up this one, because it's kind of a pain to clean these up when you remove them. So on the bottom side here, this particular one has all these electronic controls rather than a twist knob like the Fantastic fan. And then the knob to open it here has three things on it, which I actually don't like as much, but it's kind of cool that you can push it up and it'll completely lock. So when you're driving down the road, you can do that. And since this one, I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but it's got a very strong, heavy mechanism to keep this part open. So you can actually drive down the highway with this thing open, and I've done it many times. This has actually been open the entire time that we've had this thing. I think we dropped them down once when we went on a long road trip, because it does create a little bit of drag, and you can kind of feel how when you're on the highway it drives a little differently, but it's really not that big of a deal. If it was really hot out or something, we would definitely leave these open. So there is that. Let me plug these in and show you how these suck air and how the actual fan part works. Okay, so this fan is now on high. Can you hear that? That's what it sounds like on high a few feet away. It's not as loud as the Fantastic fan, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm gonna hit this vape real quick and let you see how much air it's sucking out. All the front windows are closed, just the back doors here are open. See that? A lot of it gets sucked out because the back doors are open. It's not like a full vortex. That's pretty much blowing as hard as I can. And let's try it out with the Fantastic fan. All right, so now the Fantastic fan is on all the way and it's much louder. It's a much more high-pitched sound, and it doesn't feel like it's pulling as much air. Now keep in mind that this fan is a 3-speed and the other one's a 10, so maybe the 10, if there is a 10-speed Fantastic fan, maybe it's more powerful than this. It doesn't feel as powerful. Let's try the vape test. Well, it still sucks it out pretty good. Let's try to blow past it like we did on the last one. A little bit more goes past. I'd say they're actually pretty close though. They're actually really close. This one is definitely louder though, and it's a much more high-pitched sound. Yeah, and I can feel the air up here. So yeah, they're pretty close on powerfulness. Now the low on this one is pretty, it's still, you know, it still sucks quite a bit of air, and it's still pretty loud. And if my bed was right here, right next to it, it's definitely on the border of too loud. But if you run it at night, it definitely cuts out a lot of the ambient sounds. If you're parked in a parking lot or on the street or something, it definitely cuts out a lot of the street sounds, which helped me sleep. If I was out somewhere in the wilderness, it just felt like it was too loud. Now, the MaxxAir fan can go this high, I guess, for a low, but its low is really low, and it moves a little bit of air, but it doesn't really suck out as much. So you kind of got to have it on the maybe the 3rd or 4th setting to be this velocity of speed. So that's pretty much that. This particular Fantastic fan does not have a thermostat because it is the most basic model. This one has a thermostat though. Let me turn this off real quick. Yeah, it definitely feels like it's pushing more air. This one has a thermostat which is stuck on 78 degrees. Now the Fantastic fans, their thermostat is actually adjustable, which is kind of nice. That's something these ones don't have. Now both of them you can get models with remotes, where you can turn them on and off and change the fan speed and change direction. This particular model has the reverse direction where it'll blow fresh air in on you, which is very nice to have. I highly recommend getting that. I got the Fantastic fan without it because it was an extra 50 bucks and I didn't think I would need it, but it's definitely very nice to have. So what else can I say about these? Having the dual fan set up on this fan has been really, really nice. I know this is in comparison to fans, but it's so nice to have dual fans because I have this one in the back above the bed so we can blow fresh air down on us when it's hot, especially in the morning, and that is so nice, especially with the thermostat. You don't even have to wake up and turn on the fans, they just kick on. Oh, it's so nice. And then the one over there, we can leave our front windows cracked with the window deflectors on there. So it's pulling the air out from the front, which gets really hot because of the windshield, and it's also pulling air out from the back from the air that comes out of this fan. And the cool thing about the thermostats on these, which I'm not sure if they do it on the Fantastic fan or not, is it actually adjusts the speed depending on how much hotter than that 78 degree cutoff it is. So if it's like 79 degrees, the fan will run really slow, but if it gets up much past that, they'll kick in much higher. And if it's like 90 something or 100 something outside, the fan will go to really high speed and really cool the air out and exchange the air really fast. So it's really nice that way. There's really not much else I can say. I guess just a recap is the MaxxAir fan you can leave open while driving. That's huge. That is so nice. And even better is you can leave it open while it's raining. So you never have to worry about forgetting to close the lid, or if you're gone from the van and you leave it open because it's hot out and you just want that air circulating so you can get back in and it's nice and cool in there. You don't have to worry about running back to the van to close the lid because it's raining and the inside of your van is going to get soaked. You know, so that is just huge. And having the low height of this one, even when it's fully open like this, I mean, let's see if I can close it from this distance. When it's closed, it's not as noticeable. It seems like it's a little lower profile than the Fantastic fan. And when it's open, it's not nearly as bad as having one of those giant rain covers on them like you'd have to have with the Fantastic fan. So overall, MaxxAir fan is an absolute winner for me. Those two things just make it so much better. I kind of wish they had an adjustable thermostat like the Fantastic fan. That's a cool feature that they have. Overall, both fans are very well made. They're both expensive. This model was about 200 bucks. The one on the Astro was, I think, 130 to get a comparable model with a thermostat in reverse. All I could find online was 3-speed, so I couldn't find a 10-speed. I think it's about 180 for that on the Fantastic fan. So an extra 20 bucks and you can leave this thing open when it's raining and while you're driving. Never have to worry about remembering to close it. That's huge for me. That is so worth the extra money, so worth it. So that's really all I got for this. I got a toilet review coming up soon too. I sprained my ankle a little bit on the skateboard the other day. Some jackass pulled out in front of me and I had to jump off and sprain my ankle. So the actual build is slowing down, but I'll have a toilet review soon and then we'll get him back to the build and finish that. We don't have much left on this thing and then we'll hit the road for good and it's all adventures from there on out. I cannot wait. Thanks for watching, guys. Love you so.